All right, good afternoon. If I can have your attention, please. My name is Lauren. I'm one of the passport coordinators this semester. If you please could remember to sign out, because you won't get credit if you don't sign in or sign out. Sorry. All right, so I'll go ahead and introduce our speaker for today. So Daylyn Turner currently holds the position of Vice President of Operations for JK Chevrolet and operates as the General Manager for JK Subaru. He decided on completing college at Lamar University in 2003 and focused himself on business school. Daylyn graduated from Lamar in business and finance, and he continued to invest his life experiences and used his retained knowledge to his advantage. He went on to advance in the auto industry. Daylyn's drive and focus soon became noticeable to others. His notability gained him a nomination for 40 Under 40 Professionals in 2013 by Southeast Texas Young Professional Organization, all while being recognized by U.S. Congressman Randy Weber. He became heavily involved in his community and has served on various local boards, including the Jefferson County chapter for Habitat for Humanity, the Port Arthur Chamber of Commerce, and Beaumont Main Street. Daylyn also sits on the board of directors for Lamar University's College of Business, and Dean French is a recent graduate from the National Automotive Dealer Academy in Tysons Corner, Virginia. During his time outside of work, Daylyn enjoys being a dad, exploring nature and sports, and constantly seeks the opportunities to take his bike out on a nature trail. So if you'll go ahead and help me welcome Daylyn.
Well, good afternoon. How y'all doing? Good. Good. Looks like we got a lively bunch. I'm glad I didn't have the morning session. You know, some of those people are kind of sleepy. Well, welcome to How to Influence. I'm going to try not to bore you today, right? I'm going to try to get you some good nuggets, some good information here. But the premise of what we're going to be talking about is influence. And I had a few of you fill out, well, a lot of you fill out a form. Hopefully you completed it, because we're going to actually use that here here in a few minutes. But if you notice here on my board, I have How to Influence, but I also have a subtitle. And on the subtitle, it's The Power of Living with Self-Confidence, Power, Purpose, and Vision. Power isn't there, but purpose and power go together. And I'm going to talk to you and elaborate a little bit more about those three things, because that's the core of what we're going to be talking about today. Self-confidence is very important when you're an influential person. Would you guys agree? It's pretty important, right? Why is self-confidence so important? Yet there are research and studies that show that north of 60% of Americans in this United States don't have self-confidence. We're going to kind of talk about that and work on that, and we're going to dive in a little bit. But purpose and vision, they go together as well. You know, as it relates to purpose, a lot of people, you guys know what you have a knack for, what you're good at. Some of you are athletes in this room. Some of you guys have a lot of talent as it relates to art. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you like to sing, you know, dance. Some of you guys are very talented as it relates to academia. You're very intelligent, very astute, right? Some of you are good at math, engineering, you know, law. So many different, you know, various ways that you can actually display that talent, but you got to have self-confidence, and you have to have vision and purpose and identify what that is. And then you have to step out on a limb and say, you know what, I'm willing to try out and see how good I am at this. And let's see how I compare to other people. But, you know, that fierceness that it takes to do it regardless if somebody else is good or not, or better at it than you are, that's that fierceness that you have to possess. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Before I get into that, let's talk about somebody by the name of Thomas Edison. How many of you, by a show of hands, know who that is? What do you do?
He was an inventor.
He was an inventor?
Light bulb. What was a lot of other things?
Light bulb, right? Do you know how many times he failed?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000 times he failed to create this thing we call a light bulb. We got him in here today, right? We're not burning candles. But what if you gave up? What if you said, you know what? They said I was going to fail at this. What if you failed the 1,000th time and said, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And walk away. Done with it. Forget it. Chances are, we may not have these light bulbs in here. We may not have had the innovations over the years. They come and stem from the ability to have lights, right? So it's safe to say that he was pretty influential in our society, modern society. today because of something that he was willing to do, because he had a vision, he had a purpose, and he had confidence, and he didn't care how many times he failed, he was going to do it. Is that fair? Is that good? So, who's this guy that got talking to you today? Who am I? I know she read a bio and all that's real nice, but let me just kind of show you who I am and, tell you a little bit about myself. I'm very fortunate to be speaking to you today in the Landis Auditorium. I consider this to be a privilege because I actually sat where you are. I was a student at Lamar University. I graduated in 2007, was a finance major, 3.5 GPA, very excited. How many finance majors we got in the room? Yeah, I gotta make some noise. I gotta be excited about that. You're like, yeah, finance. Yeah. It's not very, I mean, come on, you guys give me a little bit more. Give me a little something. Good. All right, that's what I'm talking about, some energy. So I graduated, and this young man that I'm sitting next to right here, some of you guys recognize him, that's Dean Venta. Henry Venta was my dean. He was my college dean. I had an opportunity to sponsor 40 Under 40 after I won that nomination. She just mentioned that. And I'll talk to you a little bit about what that is, because some of you guys who haven't heard of it, you're probably going to be a part of it soon. So I'm going to dive into that. But had an opportunity to hang out with him for a little bit, and they recognized me in Southeast Texas for being a young professional, 40 Under 40. I actually, when I went to school here, I sold cars part-time, and they called me PT because I was pretty good at it. I sold on average 10 cars a month, and I was taking 12 to 15 hours here at school in Lamar. And I had to really hunker down and do what I needed to do. A lot of you guys are familiar with the industry, some of you aren't. National NADA standards, National Automotive Dealer Association, says that an average salesperson should sell on average 8 units a month. So I'm selling 10, and I'm taking 12 to 15 hours in school. How did I do it? Well, it took a lot of discipline, right? I came to class, I learned, I had a strategy with that. I knew that if I could read by the syllabus, all the chapters and stuff that we were going to be going over in class, if I could read up ahead of time, and I'd show up to class, I'd get more out of it, and then I'd take notes, and then I'd go to the library as soon as class is over, and I'd study up on those notes, and then I'd review some of that stuff, and then I'd look at my watch, and I'd head on to Nederland, Texas. And I'd usually have appointments set up with my customers. So they'd call me if they were there, and I'd show up and I'd sell them a car. And that's how I did it. I developed a routine. Every single day, I knew I had to make something happen here, and I had to make something happen there. And so I was pretty excited to do it because I had purpose, right? I had vision. And I had self-confidence. That confidence came from me actually doing it on a regular routine basis. Anything that you do well, you don't always start off doing so well. When I first started selling cars, it sucked. I remember the first weekend, one thing that we left out of my bio, my dad is the president of JK. So he bought the company in 2001, so about 20 years ago. And when he talked me into getting in the business, I really wasn't excited about it, really. I wanted to go and be a banker. I wanted to actually be a financial advisor. That's why I was a finance major. And I actually went to work for JP Chase right after college, not because I didn't like the car business, but because he and I kind of butt heads a little bit. And especially when I was young, I thought I knew everything, so I knew better for my life than he did, right? I said, Dad, I want to be in finance. He goes, well, I don't think you should do finance. You can't learn the business that way. And I go, well, either I'm going to do finance or I'm going to do something else, because I feel like I worked my ass off, excuse my expression, to get this finance degree, and I want to put it to work, right? So he didn't listen to me, so I made that decision. I went to work for JP Chase, and I was licensed. I got my Series 7, Series 6, Life and Health, and Series 63 licenses to actually handle investments. And my goal when I was there was to eventually graduate to what they call PCS, Private Client Services. Private Client Services, you handle $250,000, clients with $250,000 or more. You don't talk to anyone else. You become their personal banker, and you help them plan out their finances for the rest of their life. Short-term goals, long-term goals, all that stuff. So I was trained, and I was ready to go, and then one day, I came to visit for Christmas, and he goes, hey, how's it going? And I go, well, it's going pretty good. He goes, you like that finance job? I said, I love it. He said, well, "We sure miss you at the dealership." I said, "Yeah, I figured you probably would." Had that confidence, you know. He goes, "Well, to be honest with you, I appreciate what you're doing, but I think you're missing out on a big opportunity. You know, the industry, if you guys know anything about the car business, it's a multi-million-dollar business, right?" And so he started playing with me a little bit. He said, "Hey, if you want to continue to do that, I'm going to support you. I got a little money set to the side over here, a little bit. I'm going to let you handle it. You'll protect it. I don't really do anything with it anyways." And so he started kind of messing with me, playing with me on an opportunity that I might be missing out on by showing me the coins. Everybody here is motivated by money, right? You're motivated by money by show of hands? I mean, yeah, that's why you're here. That's why you're sitting in the seat. So I said, okay. It messed with me so bad, it took me about a week, and I really couldn't even sleep because I had to think about it. More than just the money, you know, legacy was important to me. And a brand, a family brand that I could continue, it really started working on me that could make me a bigger person of influence. And I could also help my family members and kids that I have, which I do have, which you kind of see up here a little bit, kind of fuzzy. You know, they might decide they want to do something in the business, and if I'm not in a position to where I can learn and grow, then they're going to miss out on that opportunity too. So, long story short, I'm standing before you today because I made the decision to get back in the business, right? So what you see here is me standing in front of JK Subaru. When I came back from Dallas and I resigned from JP Chase, I decided to be the internet manager and trainer. So I would hire and train every single person that worked for JK Chevrolet. And then I realized that there was a hole. This was back in 2009. The internet wasn't a big deal. And there were a lot of manufacturers that were pushing, "Guys, you guys need to start offering some options for people who want to shop online. They don't want to necessarily come to the dealership and go through that whole process where it takes them 4 or 5 hours." So I adapted to that pretty quickly. And I became a person of leadership there, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in a minute. And I formulated a team inside the sales team. I identified 2 people that would work with me in commerce, e-commerce. And so I would actually handle all the correspondence with customers that wanted to inquire about a product online. And I turned it into a business that probably did maybe 2 or 3 cars a month to being 20% of our production. So we sold 25 to 30 units a month at JK Chevrolet back in 2009 on the internet. This was before, just to give you an idea, the manufacturers would pat me on the back if I responded to a customer within 2 hours. Now today, some of you guys have shopped online. If you had to wait 2 hours for correspondence from anything that you're trying to do online, you think that you would do business with that company? Probably not, right? So just to give you an idea of when I was doing this is back when nobody paid attention to it. Most sales managers were old school. They were like, just get them in, just get them in. Well, they have this question and that question. Just get them in, just get them in. We'll close when they get here. You know, that whole process. This is why the industry ended up earning a very, very bad reputation for customer service. So we've had to turn that around, right? And I really got my opportunity to turn it around whenever I launched the internet department. I got tapped on the shoulder by my dad again. He said, "Hey, thinking about buying another franchise." I said, "Oh yeah?" He said, "Yeah, Subaru." I said, "What?" "What is that?" "Subaru, you know, Subaru." I said, "Let me go read up on the Subaru thing, because I don't know anything about it." He said, "Yeah, you better read up on it because you're going to launch it. You're going to run it." So I'm 26 years old, and the only thing I've really done well so far is finance, you know, school, and selling cars, and I did okay at JP Chase, you know, handled some stuff. I wasn't quite, you know, to the point where I was a big financial advisor, you know, partner or anything like that. But now I'm handling internet leads, and he's asking me to run a whole dealership. So I'm like, whoa, 26 years old, man, like this is gonna take all my time. And it did. So I went and I had to discover what this brand was all about, and I'm going somewhere with this, so just kind of flow with me. I learned what this Subaru product was all about, and I dug my heels in because I realized something. Subaru is a pretty amazing product. Started reading up on the engine. It's a Boxer engine. Anybody ever heard of the Porsche Boxer? By a show of hands? Porsche? Boxer? Nobody's heard of Porsche? Porsche? Boxer? Yeah. So the Boxer engine was actually inspired by Subaru. Subaru invented the Boxer engine, right? It's in the Porsche Boxer. Now what's different between a V8 and an inline engine? I'm going to get a little technical with you guys, but I think you can get something out of this. A V8, V6, y'all familiar with that? It's a V engine. The pistons are going in a V motion like this, up and down, right? Some of my guys up here, I know I got some mechanics, somebody changed some oil or something up here. An inline engine, 4-cylinder, going up and down, up and down. Let me get a volunteer. You mind if I'm not going to put you on the spot. Anybody that's bold enough, just, you'll come up, trust me. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Come do something with me. So I'm going to show y'all the difference between a Boxer engine and a V engine and an inline engine. If you and I jumped up and down like this, jump up and down with me. How long do you think we can do this? Not long, right? Maybe 10, 15 minutes. By the way, my girlfriend's here. She's sitting with me. She's supporting me. She's a fitness instructor, and so she's happy that I'm actually getting this workout right now because I hadn't been in the gym in a little while. Now, if you and I did this, come step with me. We could probably do this all day, huh? A little easier? Yeah. Right? So the pistons, thank you very much. Give them a hand of applause. Give them a hand of applause. So what I just did was I showed you guys the difference between a V engine and an inline engine and a Boxer engine. The pistons are horizontally opposed, so there's less wear and tear on that engine. Hence, 98% of the Subarus that were sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. Why? Because of that way that the pistons are horizontally opposed. Less wear and tear on the engine. V engines, inline engines, they get tired. They go up and down all the time. So you don't typically get as much mileage in terms of mileage that you will get on a Subaru. I started researching this. I was like, wow. Then I noticed that the parent company of Subaru was Fuji Heavy Industries, which is an aviation company. They actually built fighter jet planes in World War II. Like, wow, the history behind this. They took the Boxer engine out of that fighter jet plane, put it in an automobile, and that is the foundation for this company all the way up until 2019, almost 2020. They haven't changed. They haven't deviated from that. And they coupled that with, oh, y'all didn't tell me I was skipping through. My bad. So they coupled that, and I'm going to go over here and show you this slide, and I'm going to tell you why I'm setting the tone for this. They coupled that with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Not four-wheel drive, symmetrical all-wheel drive. So what happens with a symmetrical all-wheel drive vehicle is your wheels are pulling for you 100% of the time. So in Southeast Texas, when it rains a lot, you don't worry about hydroplaning. You will not hydroplane. Anybody ever fishtail? Spinning out? Lose a little bit of confidence? We're talking about self-confidence, right? You don't have that self-confidence when that's going on, right? Now, you're like, oh my God. Anybody ever had a front-wheel drive vehicle and you kind of lost power? It's called torque steer, okay? When you accelerate, something slippy on the road, whether it be grease, excuse me, I need to probably get some water, grease or anything like that on the road, water or anything like that on the road, if you accelerate too fast, it spins like this and it spins out and you lose control. That doesn't happen with the Subaru. With a Subaru is what I found out when I was doing all this research. What I found out was if it detects slippage on any one wheel, it'll immediately disperse the torque power going to the wheel that has the problem, that's spinning too fast. It'll send that power away from that wheel to the wheels that actually have traction. And you don't even know what's going on. You just take off and it's just like every day. When the person next to you is like, you're looking at them like, what the hell is going on with you? And you just, just coasting. So that's what makes a Subaru coupled with a CVT transmission. And a continuous variable transmission is what CVT stands for, by the way. Right? So I'm on mechanical people here. Continual variable transmission means you're going to get maximum fuel economy. So on a naturally aspirated engine with all-wheel drive and a Boxer engine, you're going to get 34, 35, 36 miles to the gallon on the freeway with the majority of their products. So I was like, wow, I was just blown away. I was like, sign me up. I'm ready to take this on the road. Then I get in the company and we're selling like 8 to 10 cars a month. And I'm like, what is going on? Now I just told y'all I went to school here full time. Myself, personally, sold 8 to 10 cars a month, right? The whole dealership, JK Subaru, was only selling 8 to 10 cars a month. Talk about eroding my self-confidence. I'm like, did I forget how to sell cars? What's going on here? there were only 36 units in operation. There was not a Subaru dealership in Southeast Texas for 12 years before we built it in Nederland, Texas. So nobody knew who it was. I literally had people coming in here saying, I've never seen one of these. I just came here. My brother-in-law said he bought one in Dallas. I just wanted to come see what they look like. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I had to deal with for a long time. So I was kind of like Thomas Edison, where I was like, man, I think I need to get back to Chevy because, you know, we sell a heck of a lot more Chevys, and this Subaru thing, this ain't working out. But I stayed committed to it, and the reason why I have this picture here is because this is me and beautiful friends of mine, Rachel and her husband Matt, and their precious baby girl that they just had. And I have done this so long, now it's almost 10 years working with the Subaru company, to where I have people seeking it out. Families seeking it out because they recognize its safety records. They recognize that if they're going to have a new baby, this is the car to put them in, because its track record says for the last 9 years it's top safety pick by IIHS. So all the consumer reports, the third party, KBB, overall best product, best brand, this stuff is actually starting to gain momentum. When we started it, I was at 0.3% of this market in Southeast Texas. Today, we're at 2.3% of the market with a trajectory of being 4.5% of the market within the next 24 months, which is a pretty big deal. And I'm super excited about it because I was able to keep that momentum and keep that self-confidence and keep that promotion of the brand, right? That purpose and that vision to get to where we were going. So now where I'm able to attract great people. It's people and processes. It's a team. It's a team effort in business. When you're influential and you can influence the people around you, the community around you, then you start having traction. So we're super excited, and what that means, I know I threw some percentages out there, is the Superstore is selling about 30 to 35 cars a month, okay? And we're going to sell about 70 to 80 cars a month. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to build a bigger facility. So within the next 2 years, we're going to be selling 70 to 80 cars a month, which is actually more than what my Chevy store is doing right now. So why am I excited and so passionate up here about that is because I remember the days when we struggled to sell 8 to 10, and to see this happen is just fantastic. So I know it's a super commercial, but I'm getting somewhere with it. So who am I? All right. Right over here, I graduated from NADA Dealer Academy with a bunch of great people. These people, they run dealerships all over the country. Some of their families and some of their bosses have anywhere from 12 to 15 or 16 stores and multi-million-dollar empires. And I got a chance to work with them and train with them. See this beautiful young lady right here? That's my girlfriend, 40 under 40 big reveal. YPO, what is that? Some of you guys are business majors. You're going to want to stay in Southeast Texas because Southeast Texas is big industry and a lot of opportunities for you who are entrepreneurs and you're seeking to do something, you know, whether it be in industry, whether it be in sales, you're going to have a great opportunity to do it right here. You don't have to go to Dallas. You don't have to go to Houston. You don't have to go to anywhere else. You can do it right here. So YPO is Young Professional Organization, which is a subsidiary of our Chamber of Commerce in Beaumont. And it was founded about seven years ago. And they started rewarding young professionals, like some of you all will be, 40 under 40, who stayed committed to Southeast Texas and are doing some pretty powerful and significant things. So we got a chance to see some of that, and we enjoyed it. This right here is me on stage with Angel San Juan. JK Subaru sponsored the Oktoberfest. We've been doing that for the last 9 years. I'm big in the community. When you're influential and you do stuff in the community, people take note of it and they want to do business with you. So that's why I took time to put that on there. This is, you guys recognize these two living legends here, Mr. Billy Tubbs and Jim Gilligan. I got a chance to attend one of the Lamar games in the President's Suite here with Dr. Evans. And I got a chance to hang out with these two guys, incredible guys. Some of you all who had an opportunity to meet them, you know that. Some of you guys that haven't, definitely get a chance to pick their brains while they're still here with us, because they are definitely living legends. So, this is me with Meals on Wheels, nutritional seniors, services for seniors. And like I said, Subaru's really big in the community. So that was something that I identified with immediately, and I grabbed a hold onto it. To date, this is 10 years. Subaru's Share the Love program has been going on for 10 years. We have raised $115 million just give it away to nonprofit organizations. And this is a part of it. This check was somewhere around $2,000 that I was able to donate to nutritional services for seniors, but this was like 5 years ago. As I've been building the business, last year we were able to donate $5,000. This year we're on pace to donate the $10,000. So that's why I thought it was pretty significant to put this on there, because the more influential the brand Subaru and myself has become in Southeast Texas, the more we're actually able to give back. So I'm not going to bore y'all anymore with this stuff, but that's a little bit of who I am. So what we came to talk about is influence. And so I'm giving you guys a form, and I asked you to fill it out. I want to ask for a couple of people. I don't have a lot of time to get everybody, but you know, anybody want to just volunteer their information that they wrote? Need about 2 or 3 people. Anybody? Show of hands. I want to get to know who you are, and we're going to talk about it. Yes, sir. So the first question, of course, your name, your major, and it says, name one person you would say has had a big influence in your life, and briefly describe why. So can you do that for us?
Yes, I'm Keith. I'm a marketing major, and I wrote about my Aunt Kim because there was a time when I was struggling, when I was fresh out of high school, I was really lost, and she supported me, she gave me guidance, she gave me unconditional love, as well as advice on a lot of things that I need, and she's the reason why I'm really here in school, trying to push to do better, and it's really helped me out.
Awesome. So this is your aunt?
Yes.
Awesome.
Aunt-in-law.
Awesome.
She's my aunt-in-law.
Your aunt-in-law. Okay, great, great. Now I love that. And then the second question is, would you consider yourself to be a person of influence? Why or why not?
I like to think so, because I'm a manager where I work, so I have an influence on the employees. And also in my group of friends, I'm usually one of the people that take initiative in things and plan things out, events and stuff like that.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Give them a round of applause, please. Being brave souls. Do I have any more brave souls that want to volunteer? What they wrote? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Victoria Crossan. I'm a business manager, and I said my mother because she is going through her second stage of cancer. She had cancer when I was 2 years old.
Wow.
She has cancer again, and usually I would feel, most people think I would feel like scared and worried, but like seeing my mom, she's so strong and confident.
Wow.
It's like I have to keep pushing.
Yeah.
She said like it could happen when you stop swimming, just keep going. So that's actually why I'm in school now, because I was going to take a break to help out what she's going on.
Perfect, perfect. And the second one is, would you consider yourself to be a person of influence? Why or why not?
I would, because I'm a person that I don't quit, and I like to
Love it.
show that, because I'm the first to go to college in my family, so
Right.
that's being a leader right there. I have cousins under me that's in high school now, and they actually want to go to college because they see some of that.
Awesome. Perfect, perfect. Couldn't have been even more perfect. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. One more person, just one more. One more. One more volunteer. One more brave soul. Come on, I got somebody. All right, here we go. Go ahead.
Okay. I just put my parents. I know you asked for myself. My name is Donovan. I'm a finance major.
Go finance.
Yeah, right. I just put my parents because even like I guess at like my low points, you know, they kept me up, kept me going, and I really just want to make them proud.
Awesome.
And for the second question, I feel I have a small influence because I'm not very like a vocal person, but I like to lead by example.
Great.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not very outspoken or anything.
Yeah.
Like I do work hard and everything.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys again. Round of applause to all of you. So let's get right into where I'm going with this. And I'm going to share with you why. Because we're talking about community. When it comes to influence, who do you influence? You influence your communities. Your communities is your friends, your family. You know, a lot of people that you know. Friends are people that you go to work with, people that you go to school with, people that you grew up with, right? It could be people that you've learned along the way, whether you're active family members. I heard a lot of people talk about their families, and I knew that was going to happen, and I should put that actually number one. But that's awesome because you're influencing your siblings, you're influencing your cousins, you're influencing some people that are older than you in your family. You know, you might inspire them, right? And that's really important because it drives home. You see them on a regular basis, and if you have a great family and you're sharpening each other, before you realize it, you've got a really powerful situation. because you're always going to look forward to the next get-together with your family because you're always going to learn something, right? You're always going to grow. You're always going to have a good time and enjoy a safe environment. And so we're going to go into that lifestyle, people that, ride bikes, active, people that, go canoeing or kayaking or hiking, whatever it is. If you have a hobby and you might play chess, whatever, that's your lifestyle. You influence people in that situation, in that type of environment as well. And then volunteer work, last and certainly not least. Go to a beach cleanup, clean up Lamar. You guys go on Meals on Wheels and actually feed some of the elderly people. In the slide before, you see me here. What I typically like to do the most out of all of the things that I do in the community is this. I give away blankets. I order 1,000 blankets every June. It's called Subaru Loves to Care. And we go to the cancer patient facility here locally in Beaumont. And there are a lot of people that are suffering by themselves that don't have family to support them, and they're there by themselves getting the IV, getting their treatments and stuff like that. And so when they see us come in, what I ask my customers to do is I ask them to fill out messages of hope when they come and get service on their vehicle. And so they'll put something like, keep fighting, the good fight, or they'll put scripture, or they'll put, we care about you. And so I give those messages of hope along with blankets to people that are there at that facility. And you can see, oh my God, some of them they cry, some of them they get very overwhelmed with emotion. And you could just, like this gentleman here, he's a veteran, and this is Veterans Day. And he's having his cancer treatment, and I go up and I say, can I offer you a blanket? And he goes, oh man, thank you so much. I can't believe you guys are actually doing this. So we're more than just a car company. Right? We're not just trying to sell cars, we're actually trying to make a difference and be influential. So just another plug there. But attributes of a person of influence, and you guys recognize that guy. A lot of times when we think about influence, we think about famous people, people that have a lot of money. But I love going around the room and asking the questions that I ask because usually what I hear is my parents, my mom, my aunt-in-law, people that are close to you. Is what you hear. But they have the same attributes. They possess leadership. They're innovators. Famous or well-known, inspirational. They're entertaining. They're driven. They're passionate. They're enduring hardships, and they're wealthy, some of them. And when I say wealthy, you don't necessarily have to be wealthy, have a lot of money, right? A lot of people that I know that are wealthy, they don't have to have a lot of money. My grandmother was one of those. That she would feed anybody that came to the house. Now, we don't even know where she got the money to do it. But if you were hungry, you knew you could go over to my grandma's house and eat. And when I saw her funeral, when she passed away, I was about 12 years old. And I'll never forget looking behind me in the car. The church wasn't big enough to have all the people, to hold all the people that showed up for her funeral. I would say it like that. And the people that couldn't get in the church, they at least wanted to visit the gravesite. And I still remember as a little boy looking behind me and seeing miles and miles and miles of cars and cars just trying to get there so that they could celebrate her, in her passing. And let me tell you something. My grandmother never really had 2 nickels to rub together. This was my dad's mom. He had to take care of her in her old age. She worked real hard, but she didn't make a lot of money. But she was tremendously wealthy. And so that's the point that I'm making. So this guy, Bill Gates, he's a college dropout. Don't follow his path. Maybe you should, I don't know. I didn't say that. But what is he doing? He's in his garage. He has this thought process that this big IBM computer, that's too much. We need to break it down, make it compact, and give it to everybody so they can experience it. He's the real reason why we even have this presentation today, right? A lot like Thomas Edison's the reason why we have light. Well, you think he was driven? You think he had purpose, self-confidence, vision? Yeah? Right? What is leadership? Why do I even have leadership part of this presentation? Because they coexist together. Leadership is influence. Peter Drucker is that handsome young gentleman over there. And a lot of you have heard of him, some of you have not. You can look him up, write his name down. This guy ran some major companies. And I mean, he built some mega companies, fortune companies, with the principle where he says leadership is influencing others to action in a focused direction. Meaning that if I'm going to influence you to do something, you got to make a choice. You got to make a decision that this is what you want to do. This is your purpose. Then you have to identify what's your vision for that. And then you have to consistently do it in spite of failure, in spite of fear, in spite of any of that. You got to have that self-confidence that says, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this. So he challenged a lot of people to do it, and he built major companies, he built major teams with that philosophy. Okay? Willingness, which is different from motivation. Willingness is more important than motivation. You got to have that inner desire, burning. You know, when I was selling cars, I had to, and I share this with y'all. My dad told me that I don't give a guarantee. Some of y'all have been in the car business, you know what that means. If you work there as a salesperson, you're going to at least make a certain dollar amount if you don't sell anything. He's like, you don't get that. I didn't get that. Either I made something or I didn't. And I had 0 checks. And those 0 checks after you put in that much work it's not fun. I had to use my credit card to put gas in my car. I was like, wait, this is crazy. I got to make something happen here. I had a willingness that I wasn't going to give up on myself. And I started making more than what I ever thought I would make while I was in college because I had that willingness. Now, motivation is like, oh, you know, they're going to give me extra credit to come to this class, this passport thing. I don't know what it is, so I'm just going to show up. But if you have willingness, you're like, you know what, I may not know what this is and I might get extra credit, but I'm going to get something out of this. So there's 2 different types of people in this room today. Actually, all of you are the same though, because you made a decision to come to school, which means you want to do better. You want to be better. You want to pursue whatever your career path is, but make sure that you do it with 100% of the power that you have and that willingness, that burning desire, because if you get complacent, you could end up going the other way. You get to a place where you're comfortable. A lot of people you see, I got laid off. All right, what are you going to do? I don't know. I might just go sit at the house for a little while. You want to sit at the house? What do you mean? Your family's dependent on you. You got kids. You know, you got people dependent on you. What do you mean you're going to go sit at the house? Well, they laid me off. Okay. What are you doing for yourself? Do you come here and sit in this room? Some of you guys are doing that. Some of you are in a situation where you did get laid off. So you made a decision to come back to school. And you're sitting in this seat and you're going to get better so that way it doesn't happen to you again. You're going to be bulletproof. That's what we're talking about, willingness. Peeling the onions back until all that remains is a choice, clearly demonstrating a sustained willingness towards progress. That's what we're talking about right now. We're not. An influential person will bring issues to a point of choice to provide clear support without removing responsibility. You got to maintain that you are responsible if you're going to be successful. The minute that you say, you know what, I've had enough, throwing all this away, you're going to pay for that. There's consequences to every choice. It could be positive or it could be negative, but somebody's always watching you. If her mom did not decide to fight cancer, then she probably could give up. And if she gives up, then how many other people that she's influencing will give up? See how that chain reaction works? But since her mom made a decision that I'm going to fight this, we're going to live our life like it's regular life, and we're going to keep pushing for the finish line. She inspires you. And so, in turn, you inspire others. Is that fair? A crucial component of leadership is helping people understand that life is a matter of choice, decision, and consequence, which is what I just talked about. People of influence should try not to spend too much energy as leaders trying to persuade people to do things, simply bring them to a point of choice, and then, hey, either they drink the water or they don't. At my dealership, I hired a lot of people, and I had to fire a lot of people. I had to fire a lot of people that didn't believe in my vision. I had to help them understand that we're not a small dealership. We're a company that's building in Southeast Texas. We're not just going to sell 15, 20 cars a month forever. So I need you coming to work prepared to run hard, because we're going to sell 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 units a month. I need you to have that mindset right now, today. Come to work with your track shoes on and run people and processes. So I had to hire the right people, which I believe I have a great team, phenomenal team today. They're working right now while I'm up here lecturing, so I'm excited about that too, because I'm not worried about what's going on. But that's what it takes. It takes a community of people, a team, a mindset, and you got to get it done that way. This book right here, take note of it. It's called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And this encompasses everything that I'm talking about right now. As a man thinketh, so is he. That's a scripture actually in the Bible. What he says is the people you influence will see your character. So you can't just run hard, work hard, and expect to be successful without having character. You have to have a standard. What is your brand? What do you represent? Who do you stand for? Are you on social media, getting drunk? Hopefully you guys aren't doing that these days. We know how those pictures linger, right? The stuff that you do in public, the stuff that you do in private, it always has the potential of coming out. So make sure that you're really careful with what you do, because you never know. Character, what is that? How do we define character? Does anybody want to take a stab at it? Nah, I didn't think I had. What did you say?
What you do when people aren't looking.
Love that, man. I wish I had something to give you. I will give you something after this, though. That's what I'm talking about. What you do when nobody's looking, right? That really encompasses who you are as a person. So if everybody's got their eyes on you and you're going to act right, that's being motivated. But that's not being willingness, like on the previous side. When you're willingness and you have a desire to really be a person of character, if he walks in front of me and he drops a $100 bill and I pick it up and I put it in my pocket, and I go, thank you, Jesus. Come on. That's not good character, right? Jesus probably wouldn't condone that, right? But if I say, excuse me, sir, you dropped a $100 bill, that's character. And that's what gets you where you want to go when you're in business, when you're in corporate America, or anything of that nature, and whether you're an organizer in the community. So, as a man thinketh, so is he. Thoughts manifest themselves into actions. Routine actions define your character. What I think is what I will do. What I do will become my habit. My habit will eventually evolve to being my character. That's who I am. How am I doing on time?
It's
What does that mean? Does that mean
You
it's
have to
over? I gotta kill it?
No, 1:35.
Oh, I got some time. All right, glad. Because I'm like, what am I doing here? I don't want to keep
You're
y'all beyond when you're supposed to be here. So remember that. Your character is who you are when nobody's looking. Purpose and brand. These people right here. I love to say that they have good character. Y'all know them? Y'all recognize who they are? That is Chip and Joanna Gaines. Great people. You know, they're married, they're a couple. I'm going to actually take time to actually read this, who they are, because I want you guys to get something out of this. But they're definitely influential, right? They built a brand. And the person that actually wrote this about them is influential. His name is Tim Tebow, former NFL player, and now he plays baseball. He says, Joanna and Chip Gaines are two incredible people with incredible hearts. Through remarkably hard work, Joe and Chip have created a platform to be able to impact lives with extreme generosity. First with their HGTV show, Fixer Upper, the soon with their own TV network. So, let's just pause right there for a moment. They start a TV show, and they're fixing up houses and stuff like that. They're passionate about it. That's their purpose, right? They're confident because they know they can go into some of these places and turn it into something. And then they got a vision because they want to do this for everybody, as many people as they possibly can. And so they've made enough money to be able to just not only have a show and get paid, but now they can start their own TV network and do this 24 hours and sponsor other people to do it. I'd say that's pretty dang good. That's very influential, right? That's a vision. That's purpose. And so it says, on Fixer Upper, when I helped Joe and Chip build an accessible home for a family with 2 children in wheelchairs, I saw firsthand the genuine passion they have for making a difference in people's lives. I also learned that Chip is just as competitive as I am, and Joe is ready to tackle any problems that arise. They are also grounded in a strong faith, which keeps them focused on what matters in life. People matter. Loving people matters. And Joe and Chip are amazing at loving people. I actually stayed in a hotel, and it's called Rough Creek Lodge, and it's in West Texas. And I saw her, and I saw him sitting at a table. There was a chef there, because you're out in the wilderness, but it's a pretty cool place. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, Rough Creek Lodge. We'll put the plug in there for them. But it's great. You can do all kinds of stuff, from zip lining, you can go hunting, you can hunt quails. Everything in there is fresh. And so I see them sitting down with their family and they're eating. They have like 5 kids or 6 something. I can't keep up. But everybody just goes up to them, and they're every day. They're approachable. They're just enjoying life. You can tell they're genuine people. What do people say that? Do people say that about you? Do you cast that type of presence out there, that no matter how successful you are, you're going to be approachable, and people can actually talk and visit with you and see you enjoying life? And I got to give them some kudos, because I tell you what, I mean, they have a good time. We had a lot of fun, and I saw them and their kids and stuff like that, and you can tell, and you can just tell when you see their show that they really love what they do. And so that's what you want to be like that, right? If you're not like that already in life, you want to have a career path that takes you to places where you can have a good time no matter where you go. You're approachable, but you're also a brand. And so they are a brand. What do these 3 people have in common? These are Time 100s. Some of you guys recognize some of these faces. Naomi Osaka. What is she known for just doing? I know some ladies in the room are going to say this, right? Anybody know who this is? Tennis? Who does she beat? Serena Williams, right? If you go to Time 100, you can actually watch a video on her, and you'll see how humble and how cool and relaxed she is. And you can tell she's like in her element when she's on that tennis court. But when she's out for the tennis court, she's every day. She's like us. But she made a decision that she was going to use the disciplines that it takes to get to where she was going and fulfilling her purpose. This guy right here, Shep Dolman. Anybody by show of hands know who this is? Let me tell you why he's influential. I saw somebody. You know who that is? Oh, she's okay, gotcha. Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know who that was either when I first saw his face. I heard his name. The reason why we're able to see everything we see in the universe, you guys heard that they recently discovered other planets and stuff like that? Well, he invented a telescope with some radio technology and some other things. He and his team came up with the ability for us to now have the opportunity to explore what's beyond the black hole. Pretty influential. Pretty cool stuff. Now we know that there's a bigger universe, right? There's a lot more going on out there than we could have ever dreamed or imagined. And then Dwayne Johnson, I saved him for last. Everybody knows who that is, right? Yeah, I see some ladies saying, yeah, I know who that is. Dwayne Johnson, I mean, branding at its finest. If you smell what the Rock's cooking, I mean, that's how it all began. That's how it all started, right? Now this dude's multi-millionaire. He's doing everything. He's doing movies, he's acting, he's supporting people, he's still getting involved with, athletics, NFL, also wrestling and everything else. But he's an impression. He's making a very good influence in his line of work. Now, I picked these 3 people for a reason, because none of them have anything to do with each other in terms of industry. There's room for everybody to be successful, is what I'm really trying to drive home. You don't have to compete with one another. That's not necessary. Just identify with what you do well and stay focused and committed to that. Can I hit play on this and show this real quick? I think we got a little bit of time left. All right. Your attitude determines your altitude. And, is that up?
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Okay, you can hear that? All right.
You look like a bunch of 5th grade sissies after a cat fight. You got anger, that's good. You're gonna need it, son. You got aggression, that's even better. You're gonna need that too. But any little 2-year-old child can throw a fit. Football is about controlling that anger. harnessing that aggression into a team effort to achieve perfection. When you put that uniform on, that Titan uniform, you better come to work.
I think you're nothing. Nothing but a pure waste of God-given talent. You don't listen to nobody, man. You can't run over everybody in this league, and every time you do, you leave one of your teammates hanging out to dry. What was that, Ray? Whatever it is, it ain't blocking.
Give me a break.
You want to play? I'll give you a break. Me and Julius won.
Just let them
Get to rev once, just one time. I swear to God, I'm gonna hit you so hard by the time you come to. Ooh, boy, you're gonna need a new haircut. You understand me? Let's play, fellas. Let me ask you something, Mr. Campbell. What kind of power you got?
Oh, man, you know I got some Subaru power.
What kind of power you got?
I got a question to that. I got Zoom.
Yes, you do.
Right on, let me ask you something, Mr. Cortez.
Hey, how strong are you? I'm too strong.
What?
I'm too strong. Too strong. I want a victory. I want a victory. You want victory.
Remember the Titans, great movie, right? So why did I put this on here? Because it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And anything that you do, and no matter what it is that you pursue in this life, you're going to need a team, right? And in this movie, what was going on in the background, some of you guys are familiar with it, there wasn't a lot of agreements on those two teams working together. There was a lot of racial divide, racial tension in that time. That's what the premise was. But they were able to come together and they accentuated their strengths. They said, you know what? I don't know you, I don't look like you, I didn't grow up with you, I'm not comfortable with you, but I see you got some skills. And you heard what they were chanting at the end is, I want victory. They want victory. They wanted to win. So they decided that they were going to get together, put all the differences aside, and work on what they need to do together as a team to win. I can tell you, there's going to be a lot of people in corporate America. You guys graduate from Lamar University and you go into the workforce. Some of you all are in the workforce right now. You're going to deal with a lot of people that you don't like. You're going to have some differences, right? She's like, yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have, it's just going to happen. It's inevitable. But you got to remember to focus on a leader. Focuses on what this person does well. I'm going to accentuate what they do well. And I'm going to keep encouraging them to do that and allow me the opportunity to do what I do well so we can win and get the victory. And so communication, you know, your attitude determines your altitude. You got to have that mindset going in open-minded up front, but then that translates into communication. And as a leader and an influencer, you have to be a good communicator. People, and I love John C. Maxwell, by the way, that's another book you want to write down. He says, everyone communicates, but few connect. What he means by that is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The reason this man said that his aunt-in-law was an influence to him is because she actually took time and she cared. So he listens to her advice. He listens to things that she has to say because she cared first. Some of you guys are going to be leaders in organizations and in businesses or anything, in church, whatever, nonprofits. You have to know the way that you communicate is to find out more about the people that you're communicating with. What's their motivation, right? Why is it important for them to be there? If you don't know that, chances are they probably won't listen to you. I know what every single person that works for my organization. JK Chevrolet has 76 employees. And I go around every single morning and I greet every person. My technicians in the back, I go talk to them about their son and how they're doing basketball or football. Their wife, you know, I go talk to them and communicate with them and find out what's going on in their life. And you know what? Every single time I call on them to do something, they turn it up and they get it done. Because it's respect first, and that's how you get respect, by communicating effectively. All right, last slide. It won't shift. All right. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Another good book, last book that I'm going to mention for today. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. So keep that in mind. Talk more about them, talk less about you, and you'll probably get more out of them. Guys, I'm going to be here for a couple of minutes after this. If you want to talk to me about opportunities in my business world, my business arena, the automotive industry, feel free to come talk to me. I'll be available. I'll give you my business card. Or if you decide that you just want to buy a car and you're in the market, I got some cars for you too. I love doing this. Thank you so much for indulging, and I hope you got something out of it. But remember this. If you do today what others don't, you will have tomorrow what others won't. And in this presentation, what I really wanted to bring out is that you have to have vision, you have to have purpose, and self-confidence to be successful at anything that you do. Is that good? Yes. Thank you, guys.